Hello, good evening, everybody. How are we doing? We've got folks here in front of us live in person, and we've got all of you joining us virtually as well. So welcome this evening to the Employer Spotlight on EasyIT. I'm Tom Capps-Harshaw, and I just wanted to welcome you first and foremost. Thank those who have joined us this evening. And I want to make sure that we're hitting the record button where we are streaming from, so that those who are not able to join us this evening will be able to watch it at a later time. All right, well, the next thing I want to do is, first and foremost, give a wonderful big welcome to our guest speaker this evening. We have Kurt Hoeft, the CEO of EasyIT, here this evening. And Kurt studied finance and applied statistical analysis at Miami University. Upon graduation, Kurt quickly fell into the technology field, working as a programmer. He confirmed his passion for technology, but was missing something in his career. Kurt's brother, Eric, who shared the same passion for technology, began talking to Kurt on how they could use their passion for technology to impact the community and business owners positively. Kurt and Eric teamed up to open Capital City Consulting, now known as EasyIT. Kurt is also a partner at AutoSuite, an automotive digital marketing agency. Kurt enjoys bringing an entrepreneurial mindset to two very different companies in different fields. Kurt also has the pleasure of being a board member for the Grow Company, where he can share his experiences and learn from many other like-minded individuals. Kurt spent most of his time serving as the visionary for EasyIT, while also holding the role of Virtual Chief Technology Officer for over 60 clients. Kurt's passion is understanding each client's business goals and then implementing a plan to ensure the company has the technology in place to achieve those goals while keeping their employees productive and their data secure. And with that, I want to welcome up Kurt.
I think the closest person to me is about 30 foot away, so I'm going to remove that so you can actually hear me. The bio, thank you, Thomas, that Thomas read is a little oversimplified. I remember coming out of college, it was a long time ago, 1992, and my degree did not in any way match the field I went into, which was programming for a living. That's because I didn't want to program for a living, but I needed a job. And I just happened to have taken some programming courses, and I took some statistical programming courses. And in 1992, there's a pretty good recession. And unlike now, there were not a ton of jobs available. But I did find a company who was interested in my background, and they allowed me to come in as an entry-level programmer. And the rest, as they say, is history. I enjoyed programming, not enough to really stay in it. I enjoy business more. And I enjoy technology and talking to people about technology more so than anything. So I have two areas of background, and I'm looking forward to questions whenever you have them, certainly later. But I have two areas I can really talk about in depth. I'm CEO of EasyIT, and we're a managed service provider, which is very much infrastructure-based services. I'm also an investor and board member at AutoSuite, and that is a software as a service kind of company. So they do programming, which might interest you all. So I have a pretty broad background. I can take a lot of questions about different things. We don't have a real structured presentation for you today. I'm just going to tell you a bit about us and what we do, and hopefully it makes you think of some questions. I have the pleasure today of having Anthony DiMichele with me. He'll be up here in a moment. Anthony is our senior network architect for EasyIT. He is the guy that does all the design for complicated network architectures. He does a lot of the programming for implementations, those sort of things. He has a good story to tell about where he came from. He came to us not long out of school as a very junior person, and he's come a heck of a long way, and now he's a key manager at our company. He sits on our leadership team. He does a lot to drive the direction of our company. So that from a tier one engineer is pretty good. But I look forward to him talking to you all about that. Let's talk about EasyIT. I think that's the employer spotlight that we're doing today. EasyIT is a managed services company. We've been in business for 23 years. My brother and I are business partners in that. He's our COO, I'm our CEO. We have 43 team members. We grew a lot last year. We are growing quickly this year. There's no end in sight for that. We're regularly bringing on new people. We partnered with Columbus State very much on purpose. We like bringing in smart people, young folk or older folk, that have some insight into technology and a curiosity about it. Our favorite people that we interview are folks that can tell us about their home network, and they've done this and set up this, and they tried to build this server, but maybe it failed. So then they're going to do it this way, and you see them get all excited about it. If you give me someone with that kind of passion and a bit of intellect, they're going to go far. So we really look for that in our company, and that's how we've grown largely over time. We have 3, 4 interns currently. I think they're mostly all going to stay long-term, hopefully. They're still finishing school, but that's fine. We support about 6,500 endpoints in 15 states. We have a specialty, if we have any one vertical, it would be in professional services, architects, engineers, legal, accounting, folks that tend to trade time for dollars. They understand the value of managed services. So what's managed services? Managed services, I guess I can use this thing, thank you. Managed services is, if I want to simplify it, it's either becoming the IT function for small and mid-sized businesses or part of the IT function. So outsourcing or co-sourcing, or as in popular language would be fully managed or co-managed IT. When a client of ours has less than 50 employees, if we are their IT department, we're probably their entire IT department. If they're over 100 employees, they probably have someone, at least someone in-house internally that's IT for them. And that person probably works on line of business applications. They may do a lot of business analysis work. They may write reports, but they're also just very fundamentally interested in IT. And whenever there is a person dedicated to the IT function in a company, and we're also supporting that company, we call that co-managed IT. We go way out of our way to make that a team. And later we'll talk about a really fun program that we started to promote that. As you might imagine, if you have an internal IT department, even a significant sized one, we have clients that have 14, 15 people in their internal IT department, bringing in a managed service provider like us is a little unnerving because we do outsource IT. But we've come up with a way to make them feel more secure in that. We have, I think, in our help desk system now, about 1.6 million tickets we've processed, 6,500 endpoints, I think I mentioned, 15 states. We support about 50 different discrete networks. So whereas a lot of jobs will have you in a business supporting a network and a set of systems, we have 50. Now we take those 50 and we break down the support teams into 6 or 7 people for a subset of those clients, so you don't have to be familiar with 50 clients. But what that means for anyone that works for us is you are going to be a generalist. You're not going to know one kind of network switch. You're not going to know one kind of firewall. You're not going to know, this version of operating system because it's all out there. Now our clients tend to trend towards a homogeneous look, but they certainly don't start that way, and they're not really truly homogeneous. So we hire people who want to be generalists. We hire people who want to understand the broader picture of IT. Folks who really can think beyond just answering a help desk ticket. When you are looking at opportunities out in the world, there are reasons to look at companies that aren't in the small business world. So we're a small business, right? 43 people. We're no JP Morgan. We're no Nationwide. Those companies have wonderful things that they can offer. They have some pretty sophisticated training programs. But it's a different job in the end when you work for a larger company. You tend to be very, very deep in a very, very narrow technology. So if you're programming, you're probably programming in a single system, in a single aspect of it. You might be at that for quite a while, as opposed to all kinds of systems and different kinds of programming. For us, infrastructure, same way. Someone may work for a larger company and they're doing a specific task within the Active Directory world, and they do a lot of it and they do it well. They're really of no use to us because we need people to understand a lot more than Active Directory. I really like, whether it's an EasyIT or someone similar, I like early in your career the idea of you just getting a broad look at what's out there. You may find that what you thought you were going to love, it ain't so great. But this other thing that you've tried, that's pretty cool. And then you can pursue that more. So I would encourage anyone who's coming out of school, try to get a broad look, a broad experience in your chosen profession. What we do when we provide managed services, we provide IT security. We have a full network security operations center. So we have dedicated people that manage all the endpoints that we manage. There's a stack of security solutions that gets implemented to every endpoint. Those security solutions do a lot as far as accounting for what's out there, as far as allowing us to support it, and then it's many layers of security. Those folks, in general, have to be quite broad, because one error, one alert, can indicate a lot of different things. So again, when you have a broad footing, you're gonna much better. If you want to be in security, that's great, stay security, but know that you have to understand all the architecture generally that underpins it. So we do a lot of network security. We do a lot of patching of machines, a lot of stuff that sounds mundane but is quite difficult to do successfully. We have clients that have a few thousand users where we do all of their network security and operations center work. We like it, and we're good at it, and it's hard for even a decent-sized IT shop to do it without a dedicated network and security operations center, so they borrow ours. We have and support cloud infrastructure. We're doing a ton in Azure now when we're moving clients actively into that platform. We work with AWS, Amazon Web Services, as a platform, and on and on. We do not have a client of any kind that doesn't have at least part of their infrastructure in the cloud. It's an important place to be, and it's going to get more important. Of course, we provide help desk services, because you have to be IT, right? So we take on call support calls. We do provide 24/7 support, probably one of the least sexy things, but more important things that we do. And it's never boring. Your days fly by, because there's Anthony knows what I'm saying. There's a whole lot of tickets that flow through that area. We provide product services. So when a client comes to us and says, I have this need, we don't just go out and order them, whatever we think they need. We design a solution for them and talk them through the solution. That's where someone like Anthony comes into it, and he's like, okay, you're going to need this sort of thing, and if you have this compliance need, then, well, you need this level of licensing, and here's all the implications of that. So here's what you need for a solution. If they buy off on that, which they usually do, then we order it and implement it. It's just all part of being your managed service provider. It's all part of being the virtual IT department for a company. And importantly, what we do that I enjoy more than anything in my job is virtual CTO services, which is basically IT management consulting. So in our world, our senior systems engineers commonly are what we call technical success managers. What they are is technical account managers. So they work with a subset of our accounts, and they are the technical focal point for them, and they help drive and evolve their IT. So they will, if you're opening a new office, they're like, great, you're opening a new office. Here's what that implies. We're going to have to come up with this licensing will change. This will no longer be properly sized. All the infrastructure implications they come up with. Our virtual CTOs come in behind that, and I do a lot of this work, and just talk through the business implications of those different technical solutions. If a business owner hears the technical solution without understanding the business impact, it's of no good. So someone has to come along and say, here's why this just isn't an expense. There's a lot more to it than that. Like I mentioned, we hire a lot of people young, out of school. We hire a lot of people as interns that are now senior engineers with us. Anthony actually teaches here at Columbus State, and I thought he might talk for a few minutes about his journey with EasyIT, just to kind of let you folks know how this can work.
Thank you, Kurt, for the introduction. Again, my name is Anthony DiMichele. I am an adjunct faculty here at Columbus State. I teach a couple of the 1152 courses, Intro to Networking. I've been with EasyIT now for 11 years. I started at Tier 1, our lowest level. Worked through the years up to our Tier 2 level, and now I'm at our senior network architect level. And as Kurt said, I design a lot of the solutions that we provide for our clients. What does that mean? So a lot of it is what Kurt said. Understanding the business need to be able to design IT around the business. So that is a very critical point, especially when you go into consulting or work for a managed service provider. One thing that I'd like to mention about a managed service provider versus a bigger organization is, like Kurt said, you've got to be a generalist. And I think that is a very valuable tool. Being a generalist, you start to understand not just the network. You understand the server infrastructure. You understand to the endpoint. A lot of the times, you've got to get into SQL. You're the last check for that software developer that you're letting into your system. That's usually an outside party. So sometimes a lot of those systems will share a SQL server, right? So sometimes when you're letting in a vendor, they don't know the impact to the changes that they're going to make into your system. So they'll be like, oh, I just need to reboot that server. Well, so stepping back and knowing the entire architecture of that, you'd be like, no, we're going to have to schedule that because that's going to impact X, Y, and Z, and then we also need to restart these services on these other servers. So being that generalist just gives you a wider opportunity to grow. And Kurt touched on our structure of focused service groups, and I'd like to touch on that as well, because I think that's a very attractive piece of EasyIT, not only for a client, but for someone that's wanting to eagerly learn. So that structure, so in that focused service group, we've got our desktop tech level, our senior system, or our systems engineer and our senior systems engineer. Now, our senior systems engineer is a very strong technical resource. That's that technical success manager that Kurt was talking about. They are going to know all of their clients' networks from top to bottom and everything about it. From time to time, they need to get to the architect level for a little bit bigger picture and for some of the bigger projects, but they are a very strong resource. Those are smaller knit groups. So we bring someone new into one of those groups, and they instantly have a small group of people that they build a relationship with and that they have confidence to ask questions and grow. That technical success manager is also there, and they're assigning tasks to the different technicians underneath them. They're trained to know what tasks to give someone that's entry level versus someone that's more senior, and grow them to that senior level. So what I've seen in the past year is we've brought in some people at the lower level, and they're working their way up, all the way up to that technology success manager in a short period of time, which has allowed us to scale the way that we have. And what does that mean for you? It means if you were interested in joining our team, it would give you that ability to grow quickly because you have that broad knowledge and you've got that mentorship right there in that focused service group. Now, the culture at EasyIT is great. It's a very fun place to work. Everyone's caring, and you also have people joking around. It's a great environment to work in. Kurt also touched on our co-managed services. So I deal a lot with our co-managed clients. So Kurt talked about clients that we have that have up to like 15 people in IT. So I've come along with these teams, and to be honest, they just feel like an extension of EasyIT. So we're meeting with them regularly, we're talking with them, we're inviting them to events, and again, they just feel like an extension to EasyIT, and to that client, we feel like an extension to them. I feel like it's past the vendor relationship. We really have a coworker relationship at that point. So that's really a lot of the life of EasyIT. Again, I started at Tier 1, worked up to Senior Network Architect, and as Kurt mentioned, have joined the management team to help guide the direction of the company. And then recently, I started teaching a few years back here at Columbus State the Intro to Networking course, just because I share that passion of training. I'm a large mentor at the office, and I decided to extend that here at Columbus State.
Yeah, this feels like a pretty dry presentation because it's weird. There's like 3 people in the audience here, and everyone else is virtual. It's just not normal, but we'll make the best of it. We do have a lot of fun. Our guys are a bunch of jokers. We are having a party here. It'll be outdoor. In the next few weeks, our our office manager's retiring after 15 years. We have a lot of people who have been with us 15, 20 years, and we are getting a band, and we're getting a pizza truck, and we're getting a keg, and it's going to be a good time. Inviting all of our friends. Come on down if you're of age. I'd like to talk about something that Anthony mentioned, and we're really excited about this. When we partner with internal IT, we've just had a great experience. And one of Anthony's clients that he's partnering with came up with this idea. We've got a few videos. They're short. They're about 90 seconds apiece. But we're just having a blast with this promotional campaign. And I think it does speak to what Anthony was getting to, where we really enjoy and truly feel like we build family with our clients that have internal IT. And it's called our EasyIT and Me campaign. And
hello, I'm Kurt Hoeft, CEO of EasyIT. It is my great pleasure to introduce the EasyIT and Me campaign. EasyIT and Me is a reference to one of the things that EasyIT prides itself on doing extremely well: partnering with our clients' internal IT staff to form a single team that provides the best IT outcome for our clients. Oftentimes, EasyIT will focus on individual aspects of infrastructure, such as partial or full infrastructure support, outsourced help desk, network and security operations, or the all too common security event remediation. Regardless, our services allow our clients to focus on strategic efforts such as their line of business applications. What makes me most proud of EasyIT and Me is that it wasn't even our idea. It was originally an idea of an employee of one of our co-managed clients. While brainstorming through a technical challenge with EasyIT's senior engineers, he realized how glad he was to have a broader set of specialists to work with. In a moment of appreciation, he said something to the effect of, "You know, you should really do a promotion around this kind of collaboration." Shortly thereafter, EasyIT and Me was born. Don't take my word for it. Check out what our clients had to say in the videos and testimonials below. And if you could use some extra IT horsepower, call EasyIT to see how we can partner with you.
feel awkward seeing myself on film like that. But the person that they were chatting with was actually Anthony. And we have just a slew of testimonials from clients that are just a blast to watch. It makes me feel good. So we're going to bore you with one of those, and then we'll get back to the rest of the thing.
Hi, my name is Bradley Shearer. I work for Otterbein University as a senior network engineer. EasyIT gave us all these wonderful tools and applications that we use on a daily basis, but that's not really where their value comes into play. I feel that their employees are so knowledgeable, and there's a vast number of employees that have all sorts of different skill sets. It's kind of like hiring a Swiss Army knife as an extra person to work. And he had worked with EasyIT before. Basically, in this particular circumstance, we were undergoing a very stressful time, and we brought in EasyIT and actually in the early morning and worked through everything, got us set up with remote learning, or not remote learning, but remote access to our systems and things like that, and made it possible for most of our campus to work remotely during COVID. So that's pretty amazing. I think every employee with EasyIT that I've worked with, I have almost a personal relationship with, talking about going out and hanging out after all this stuff is over. And also, the very first time I met somebody from EasyIT, I learned something new. And every time I meet with somebody from EasyIT, if it's a technical meeting, I learn something new. How to troubleshoot something, how to utilize the tool set, and also how easy it is for me to go in and get them to help me modify some things in the tool set. It's just wonderful.
Anyhow, we've had a lot of fun with that, and that's going to be definitely a future direction of ours. When we provide Network Security Operations Center services, that's always a sort of co-managed service, but we want to definitely be perceived as a partner, certainly not a threat, and we hope that this goes a long way towards that. We've created a council, EasyIT and Me Co-Managed Council, and all of our internal IT partners are invited out once a quarter, and we have a learning topic, almost always on security. Everything these days is security, 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 and pizza and beer and learn, and then they get to have a little community and share tips and tricks. It's really just kind of a ball. Anyhow, that's a whole lot of information. I would love to take some questions. Or Anthony, if you have questions for Anthony. He's more interesting than I am anyhow.
I do have a couple questions online. If anybody in the room, I know there's a huge audience in here, so if anybody has a question, let us know. But I will start with one that is online. So James would like to know, what would an intern position within your organization look like? I like that you mentioned being a generalist. Do you have any employees on staff who have not yet obtained a degree in IT? I have switched what I want to do within the IT field 3 times and still have yet to apply for an IT job. The more I learn, the more my decision changes. Is that normal? Also, do you have any suggestions for someone like me?
That's a lot of questions in one question. If you can turn your mic up a little, if you're
Yeah.
just a little hard to hear.
On it.
So great question. We have folks that absolutely have no degree. We bring people in from high school that just have an interest and exposure. And what we do is what Anthony referred to. We find easily repeatable tasks that we can give to them that give them experience. Maybe they're in Active Directory setting up users, doing tasks like that. It gives them exposure to a technology. They prove they can follow a list of instructions and think, and they prove that they're reliable. And then once they do that repeatedly and well, we give them more to do. And that more to do tends to get more and more interesting. You start with the repeatable and mundane, and then as you learn stuff, as you have more to offer, as we learn to rely on your thinking and judgment, you get more interesting stuff. We have a very evolved program for bringing in folks who have very limited exposure to technology. You actually get enrolled in a project, and being enrolled in a project is your training. We have 6 weeks of training for all new employees, and that training is part of that project. Importantly, you have to capture time against those project tickets, so you're learning the mechanics of working in a service organization as you're doing things like learning different tool sets. What else do we do, Anthony? We pair you up with a mentor.
Yeah, so you're paired up with a mentor. Part of that project that Kurt is talking about, you're meeting with all the subject matter experts of all of our tools. So you're not just getting trained by anyone from our staff. You're getting trained by the person who's in charge of that tool for our staff. So it helps with camaraderie. So you're meeting the entire staff through that project, and you are also learning all these tool sets. And as you grow, you've got that close-knit group that you're working with to learn those new skill sets. And as Kurt said, you start off with the easier, repeatable tasks, and you start to get the harder ones as you complete those.
And I think the last part of that is you've had 3 or 4 different majors or specialties or whatever in your educational career. I don't care. That's cool. At least you know what you don't like. It's hard. Some people follow one thing their whole educational career. They get into a job and decide, why did I do this? I don't like it. So good for you that you're trying different stuff. If you want to dive deeper into an area that we do, you just have to apply. We'll bring you in for an interview, and if things work out, we give people part-time internship positions. We allow them to work through school. We want folks to finish their degrees. We value that a lot. I don't even value it for the degree, if that's odd enough. I value it because it means you can stick to something long enough to actually accomplish it. It's hard. It's hard when you work, and at the same time you're going to school. I did that. If you can do that, that tells me a lot about your character. And so whatever you do, you get an internship, finish your stinking degree. That's big.
Okay, I have another question. Do you hire any programmers, or is it mostly networking?
So we do not hire programmers. Having said that, in infrastructure, there's a lot of programming. Now, it's scripting, but there's a lot. Our most senior guys, one comes to mind in general, he barely ever touches a GUI interface. He writes script for everything. And our NSOC, they write scripts for everything. So do we hire programmers? No. Do we do a lot of programming? Yeah. On the flip side, at a company like AutoSuite, yeah, we hire programmers. They build software as a service tools. And so it's a must do. So I do, but not at EasyIT, hire programmers.
Okay, any questions in the room before I continue? All right.
Yay, first question in the room.
My name's Anthony,
Nice.
but most people call me Tony. So, and I got a few questions, but they should be relatively quick to answer. Number one is, when someone comes in as an intern with you, is there like sort of a set? So, like on the PowerPoint slide you had, there was like 6 different sort of categories that you guys do different work in. Is there a set category that the interns would be going into, or does it just kind of depend on like their experience or interest, or how does
Yeah.
that work?
Yes and no. So it's point in time, and it has to do with what our needs are at that time. In general, all of our interns tend to start on the help desk. So that's not even true anymore. Things have changed a lot in the last year. They may start on a project team, for instance. We now ship hundreds and hundreds of machines out in any given month. We have to image them via Azure, configure them, test them, do different stuff, make sure users can log in, scripts run, blah, blah, blah. A lot of that is done by interns. It's, again, a very repeatable task. They do it well. We give them more interesting stuff to do. Then we start giving them new employees to set up in systems, like for our clients, because there's always folks being hired. There's always folks being terminated. All of this stuff is really important. I mean, it's actually really important. We have regulated clients that you can't screw up termination. And we really appreciate people that can do that reliably. So there's a path. Our biggest concern is keeping folks from getting into trouble, getting in over their head. And we can't do that disservice to our client. It's also a disservice to the person doing the work, to expect that out of them. So we want everyone to be successful. We look at what they're good at, and then we pick sort of the best area. Most everyone comes to us and says, I want to be in security. I would tell you everyone in our company is in security to a degree, whether they're in the NSOC or not, just because that's first and foremost in everything we do. But no one can really be a master in that area until they are a really good generalist. They need to understand the network layer, the OS layer, I mean, just all around understanding.
And then about how many hours are you looking for on average for your interns? I'm sure a lot of
Usually
people wanna know.
20 in the summer. If they can work 40, that's great.
And my final question is, what is the soonest that you're looking to hire interns? Because I know that through the program, we have like a set up interview process and everything like that. But say somebody like myself wanted to jump on board earlier, try to get interviews earlier, anything like that, is that a possibility for anyone, or is it just set at the time that it's set through the like ITFA program?
We're a small company, so we're pretty agile, and our needs tend to come quick when they come. I don't know that we're in need of an intern right now. I couldn't tell you we wouldn't hire one. What I would do is reach out to Anthony or myself, get us your paperwork, tell us of your interest. We are always seemingly hiring, and the right person in front of our client services director, and it's just a done deal.
All right, I got another question from our friends in the virtual world. So Rowan wants to know, what resources outside of classes would you recommend to people just starting out in IT? So i.e. books, podcasts, whatever.
Yeah, maybe Anthony can answer that one. I mean, I can, but it seems like you might be.
Yeah, so resources outside of the classroom. I'm always looking at the security forums. Those will teach you a lot. You see what the latest outbreaks are today and research why and start to look at those threats for more of the cyber students, right? Even the networking. So to be a cyber student or to be in the cyber field, you've got to really understand networking because of that perimeter. So I look at the daily current events and news, also the different certification tracks. I know in our class that I teach here, we cover the Net Plus, and I really like that certification because it's a general knowledge, it's not specific. So if you're looking to get into the field, Network Plus is really a good entry step A+ is right before that, so have a foundation of the desktop, and then when you want to get to the network layer, the Network Plus is a good resource.
Just to add to that, I'm a big fan of certifications, whether it's programming or whether it's infrastructure related. I would say having a good knowledge and vocabulary just in general. So a lot of reading, you can get on the internet and learn a lot basically outside of your education. I find it interesting too when folks have taken upon themselves just to get deep education in something, whether it's in the technical field or not. It's like, oh, well, you're smart, and when you apply yourself, you learn things that, obviously weren't spoon-fed to you. It just proves a bit of initiative to me. If you want to learn and you're in infrastructure, get some used gear and start building stuff. That impresses the hell out of me. Tell us why it didn't work. Well, why didn't it work? Oh, I set this up wrong. Oh, okay. Yeah, then what'd you see? I saw this. Yep, you would have. Those are great conversations to have. We really don't hire a lot of people out of school because they know anything. We hire them out of school because they've learned a few things and they've got an initiative to learn more.
I'm Tyler. I think you may have touched on my answer or my question, because mine was about whether or not you guys are in line with the apprenticeship program. Are you guys taking people from the program and then doing the internship? It sounds like you guys are doing your own, you have your own program.
Right, great question. So we are all in. We have volunteered to have to speak. So here we are. We have volunteered to have classes come through. This is pre-COVID. Come through and just tour our facility and meet our people and actually see what a day in the life is like. We actually put Anthony very purposefully on the faculty here. One, he wanted to do it. He's a natural-born teacher. Two, it seemed like a great pathway to getting to know good students, smart kids from Columbus State. And so Anthony jumped into that and has been doing it. We have actively participated in the job fairs. I don't know that those, to be quite frank, have done anything grand for us. I'm more excited about this platform than those. I sitting behind a table next to Nationwide, you just don't draw a whole lot of attention. Does that answer your question?
So I'll speak a little bit to that. So okay, oh yeah, they can see me. Oh my gosh, where am I being shot from? I love it. Okay, well, I'm on screen and I can see myself, so I'm going to turn that. So our IT Flexible Apprenticeship Program operates a little bit differently than our traditional internships. So we have employer partners that come on board to be a part of this program, in which our students take 1 year of academic courses, which is what all of these students are a part of in this room and virtually. So they front load their technical coursework, meaning they do a lot of that fun, deep major coursework up front instead of the general education courses, so that they are fully prepared by their second semester in the program to begin networking with our employer partners that are a part of this program. And so on top of their technical coursework and all of that hard work, they're also going through some pretty rigorous career readiness training, which I think I have maybe at least one deferment that I know is on the line and in the room from last year, and it is rigorous. It is resume reviews, mock interviews, elevator pitches, diversity and inclusion workshops, you name it. And they do all of that in preparation for our employer networking night, where they come and essentially speed date with some of our employer partners for the opportunity for a year-long paid apprenticeship position at some of these big companies. And I believe that was what the question was referencing. And so it's a year-long paid apprenticeship position with the idea that by the end of the position, they would be graduating and ready to move into a full-time role if that opportunity presented itself at such employer.
I believe we are participating in that. I want to say last year, just that sort of thing wasn't happening really.
Yeah.
For so many reasons. But yes, we are all about that.
Yes, so sounds like potential for some early internships if you had an interest in maybe getting started early, but then also if you didn't and you feel like you want to take the next couple semesters and continue to get ready and go through the traditional ITFA process, you'll have the opportunity to see the guys from EasyIT at networking night, and in the future for some potential apprenticeship positions. So that's exciting.
We're fans of Columbus State. We're fans of students of Columbus State.
They're pretty great.
I mean, you got brilliant teachers.
We do. They're also really great. I have another question on the chat. It says, have you taken on folks who have changed careers? Do you find that they are successful in your organization after starting IT a bit later in life?
I can't imagine we haven't. Yeah, we have a project manager now who's a technology project manager who wasn't always in IT, wasn't always in project management. He's not a young guy out of school. He's great. He's kicking butt. So, yeah, if you got the talent, we are really creative in who we'll hire. We just want folks with an interest and the intellect, and we have all kinds of needs.
Awesome. Could you speak a little bit more to the ways that interns make it, or apprentices may get the opportunity to engage with the cybersecurity elements of IT?
Sure. So we have, we're a call center in many ways. So we have a help desk that really runs everything. And when I say a help desk, it's a massive time tracking system. Security creates events, and events become tickets, and tickets go on boards. And so we have several different boards depending on the security event that has come through. And sometimes it's not even a reactionary event. Sometimes it's just, hey, we have to do this. And that may be remoting into different switches and upgrading firmware. That might be, it can look like a whole lot of different things. What we often do with the interns is we say, find all tickets that look like this. When you find those, you're going to follow this process. If you end up over here, you need to get some advanced help, which is nice because when you bring in a senior engineer, you get to shadow that senior engineer and see what they do. And we want you to see what they do and understand what they do. But then you're still working that list of activities to go through. So yeah, without being someone who sits on the NSOC and remediates live problems, there's a lot you do to get exposure to security incidents as an intern.
Awesome. Sorry, I don't read and think well at the same time. Just a big thank you for being willing to do this hybrid, is what just came through, and being willing to speak to students in both the areas here in person and virtually. I know some of our students are just remarked how they wouldn't have been able to attend otherwise, and are really glad they got the opportunity to ask some questions and be here. So thank you for that. I don't have any more questions in the chat. Are there any more questions among y'all? No. Okay. So I'll let.
Okay.
I am easy to find on LinkedIn. Just reach out to me.
There was also their emails. Looks like, oh gosh, I'm sorry, Megan, I think on your side of the house,
Yeah.
posted both your and Anthony's emails if you wanted to reach out about internship opportunities or future opportunities. So I emailed that to you three so that you, since you don't have the chat, so you guys should have those in your email if you're interested, okay?
If you want to talk about an internship, my mailbox is kind of ridiculous. Put the word internship in big capital letters at the front of your summary on your email, and that'll help me out a lot.
Well, with that, we want to all say thank you both in person and virtually to you, Kurt, and to you, Anthony, and for Megan, shout out to you as well for helping to make sure that we were all able to do this today. So I want to close out just with some final reminders that Dave Kofer sent my way. So you should see an email from Ellen letting you all know that there's an opportunity with Get Wit IT, which is a women in technology organization. So there's an email in your inbox about that. So he wanted me to point your direction that way, as well as make sure you mark your calendars for the 2021 hackathon this autumn 2021 on November 6th. This will be the many years that we've hosted this at the college, and it's a very sought-after event. So if you're interested in participating, make sure you mark your calendars because the invitations will be forthcoming. And then also, if you want to get engaged with employers like Kurt here and with EasyIT, you need to activate your handshake profile. So Columbus State, as well as many colleges in the state and nationally, as well as employers, have now linked together through a platform called Handshake. So you all as students have access to that platform, and you should have an email from either Julie Collette in Career Services or Ellen from our department giving you instructions on how to set those up. Once you do, that will set you in motion to get to be able to meet with employers like Kurt and folks from his team, okay? So that's a really important one there. And then last but not least, there's an email from Julie as well as a Blackboard post about gamification mentorship. I saw a demo for this. It's really, really cool. So if you haven't already got engaged with that, make sure that you do. With that, I think that gives us our conclusion. I wanted to, again, one last time, say thank you, Kurt, to you for being here with us and to all those at EasyIT, as well as Anthony. I mean, that perspective from being a faculty member here at the college as well as an employee at EasyIT gives you an amazing perspective. So if you have any questions for them, any follow-up that you all want to look into, you have their contact info. And internally, if you need anything from us at Columbus State, you know how to get a hold of us. All else fails, experiential learning at cscc.edu. We all on the team monitor that email, and we're happy to assist any way we can. With that, thank you all, and have a wonderful evening.